This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, the Shiurim this weekend were sponsored by the Justman family. Lila Nishmas, their mother, whose yahrzeit was Thursday, Chava Shasha Bas Chaim Ber, who was the wife of the great Gaon of Simcha Bunim ben Barachia. They lived through the Holocaust, and she was Meiser Nefesh for Torah at a time when there were very few girls that wanted to support a Ben Torah. She was among the pioneers in this area, and then they made Aliyah, and they moved to Tzfas, and where there were very few Shomer Shabbos, and this woman was one of the pillars of the community. She baked chalois and brought many back to Yiddishkeit, teaching them Hilchos Taras HaMishpacha, and her brachos were sought after as a source of Yeshua. So we wish that her neshama shem aliyah be a melitza yeshar for her whole family. Ad bi asgal tzedek. I want to share with you an important insight on the Haggadah Shel Pesach. The Bal Haggadah says, "Keneged arba banim dibra Torah, echad chacham, ve'echad rasha, ve'echad tam, ve'echad she'eno yodea l'shal." Rav Aaron David Goldberg, the Shiva of Telz, has a beautiful new Haggadah. It's called Shiraz David, and I'm enjoying it very much. And he brings the question that there's a phrase here that seems to be superfluous. One is Echad Chacham. Why Echad, 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 Echad? What's all the Echad doing? It's not Shema. Say Chacham, Rasha, Tam, She'enei Yodea L'shal. What's all this Echad business? By the way, he brings a question. I think I have to write him a letter. He brings a question. The Goin says something very different than everybody else. Most interpret the opposite of Chacham as Rasha. There's the righteous son, the wicked son, and then you have like these two random sons. One, the Tam, the simpleton, and one who can't even formulate a question. No, says the Gra. That's not how to understand it. The Chacham is the wise son. The opposite of the Chacham is Einei Yodea L'shal. There's a Talmid Chacham who could formulate a coherent question, a cogent question, and the kid who's not wise, Einei Yodea L'shal. Then you have a wicked son, a Rasha, and the opposite of wickedness is Yaakov Avinu ish Tam, Yoshev Oyalim, like in the Pasuk in Eov, Achas Amarti, Tam v'Rasha hu Machala. The opposite of Rasha is someone who is Tmimostik. So the Goin learns it's Chacham Einei Yodea L'shal, Rasha Tam. So the Gra is bothered. The order should be Chacham Einei Yodea L'shal, Tam v'Rasha, because it should be the two opposites. Chacham Einei Yodea L'shal, Tam v'Rasha. Says the Goin, it says Rasha after Chacham because it doesn't want to end with a Rasha. It says Rasha after Chacham because it doesn't want to end with the Rasha. So Rav Goldberg brings that his son asked, okay, I got it, we don't want to end with the Rasha, but it should say Chacham Einei Yodea L'shal, Rasha Tam. I understand you don't want to end with the Rasha, so just flip Rasha and Tam. You have to say, we don't want to end with the Tam, because the Tam is a good guy. It's not Bakavadik for the Tam to be the grand finale. So therefore we end with the She'enei Yodea L'shal. But Rav Goldberg says, there's a kasha. It should have been Chacham, Tam, Rasha, She'enei Yodea L'shal. It should have been Chacham, Tam, Rasha, She'enei Yodea L'shal. And this way, we're not ending with the Rasha, we're not ending with the Tam, but what's the explanation for Chacham, Rasha, Tam, She'enei Yodea L'shal? We should put the opposites together, Chacham and Tam, Rasha, She'enei Yodea L'shal. Okay, he leaves that as a tzarachian. But the question he raises is, why does it say echad by each one? And he suggests that the Baal Haggadah is teaching us the proper way to approach our children. And that is, we have to deal with each child as a world unto itself. We have to deal with each child as an individual by himself. We have to be mechanech each child in the appropriate way for this child, with no other child's method having any bearing on the child that you're dealing with. Yeah, but I already sent the first 3 kids to this yeshiva, and I already have an inn over there, and it's going to be much cheaper with the dinner fund if I just send this kid to the same yeshiva. This already worked. It's going to be a pain in the neck to send them somewhere else. No. Echad Chacham. Every child has to be dealt with as a world unto themselves. Now, Reb Chaim Kanievsky brings a certain danger of this method of chinuch. He says that many parents, they influence their child, and they speak to their child as if the child is God's gift to humanity. They say, oh, you're so brilliant, you're so amazing, you're the smartest, you're the most handsome, you're the most successful. And the parents have good intentions. They want to encourage the child. And Reb Chaim says this is very dangerous, because all you're doing is you're engendering arrogance and bad character, and you're causing the child to look down on their friends and to perhaps even feel entitled, and ultimately this brings the child's downfall. Because these children afterwards, when they go to yeshiva, and after they've been hearing for 5 years they're the smartest, they're the best, they're God's gift to humanity, and the Rebbe asks the question and there are 5 other kids who know a better answer, and the Rebbe doesn't think they're the smartest and the Rebbe doesn't think they're the best, all of a sudden they have heartbreak and they stop learning and they're not interested. And very often, if the Rebbe tries to tell them, you have to work harder, you have to pay attention more, though they go tell their parents, and the parents say, no, the Rebbe's wrong. The kid goes home and tells the parents, my Rebbe insulted me, my Rebbe doesn't respect me. And they come and they tell the parents that the Rebbe did and said so and so and such and such. And the parents say, you're right, the Rebbe was wrong, the Rebbe insulted you, it's not right what he did. And then the parents are basically training the kid to have no respect for authority and for his Rabbeim. So it's interesting. On the one hand, the Rosh Yeshiva of Tel is saying you have to treat each child like a world unto itself. And on the other hand, Reb Chaim is saying there's a certain danger in engendering feelings of superiority and entitlement in the mind of a child. So obviously there has to be a certain balance where the most basic level of chinuch is that every child has to have a sense of self-worth, a sense of identity, a sense of unique personality. Not that the child should feel that he's superior to others. Not that the child should feel that therefore he's entitled to certain treatment, but the child definitely has to feel echad. He has to feel unique. He has to feel special. Special in that he has a unique set of talent and capability and faculty, and that's a very important balance. And probably better to err on the side of echad than to err on the side of the child not feeling his self-worth. And then Rav Goldberg brings an amazing teaching from the Sefer Imrei Mordechai. I could not find the Sefer this morning on Oitzer Chachma. He brings from the Chazon Ish that about Rav Goldberg's Zayda, Reb Lazer Gordon, the Abezin and the Ram of Telz, that one time an Oisher came to visit the yeshiva and he saw a Bachar, and it was the Bachar was davening in a very special way and learning in a very special way. And the Oisher asked, who's this Bachar? And the Telzer Rav said, this Bachar, he's my Ben Yachid, he's my son, my only son. And then the Oisher saw another Bachar. And he said, who's this Bachar? And the Telzer Rosh Yeshiva said, this Bachar is my only son. This Bachar is my Ben Yachid. And he kept on saying by every single Bachar, he's my Ben Yachid. And finally the Rosh says, how many only children do you have? The tells Rosh Yeshiva said, I have 400 only children. I have Arba Meos Banim Yechidim. That he loved each one, and he dealt with each one as if they would be his Ben Yachid. And it's an important idea that every parent has to foster, that every child should feel that your relationship with them is that they are your Ben Yachid. Never say, well, what do you want from me? I have 5 other kids. No child should ever feel that way. Every child should always feel the Echad Chacham, the Echad Tam, the Echad She'enu Yodei Lishal. And the Imri Mordechai says that this is the meaning of the Pasuk. Ve'es Shnei Baneha. Moshe had 2 sons. Shem ha'echad Gershom. It should say V'shem hasheni Eliezer. No, V'shem ha'echad Eliezer. The Mefarshim want to know, why does it say echad by each one? And the Imri Mordechai explains, based on the above, that even though Eliezer was the second son, Moshe never made him feel that way. He was treated as if he was also echad. And Rav Goldberg says this is also the kavanah of the Baal Haggadah. Not only should each child be dealt with as an individual, without having the approach that was utilized for a different child infringe on his personal chinuch, but to be matzliach in chinuch habadim. Every child has to feel that he is loved and he is valued as if he's a ben yachid. Just like if someone had one child, he would invest all of his koichos for that child. So even someone who has many children, he has to look at every child as if that child is the Ben Yachid, and this is alluded to, Echad Chacham, V'Echad Rasha, V'Echad Tam, V'Echad She'enu Yodei Lishal. Okay, everyone, thank you for joining today. I wish everyone a wonderful Shabbos. Bracha v'Hatzlacha. We'll see you on Monday, Be'ezras Hashem. Bracha v'Hatzlacha v'Chol Tov. Be well. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos. Shabbos.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.